Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Jane, Fiona, Carol, June, Carol, Ethel, Marjorie, Sue, Shirley, sorry. I am back. I have had the most wonderful time away. It really was a lovely holiday, and I will just very quickly tell you that it was in a lighthouse. Now, I know not everybody um, knows that. Some people do that I was talking to, but yeah, in a lighthouse, away from everybody. But it did mean, unfortunately, that I had no signal. I had signal enough if I stayed in one room, but it just wouldn't upload the video that I'd planned for you. So I'll pop that on another day. But yeah, just having a look at the messages that we've got. Poor Mai with COVID, and Jill. Oh, not a good day for you. Not a good day, especially as it's Father's Day. So I do hope that you're all well, and I know May isn't, but I hope that you will get better very, very soon. And I hope that sitting down with a cup of tea or coffee this morning and watching me have a little play with something may well help a little, if nothing else. I have got loads to tell you. So I'm going to start with making our card, and then some of it I can tell you as we're going along. So I'm going to be using the die set from John Next Door called Firth Park, which did come out a while ago. So do check before you get all excited. It isn't a new die, but it's been with us for a couple of years. And it's one that I've overlooked. And I just wanted to do a very simple one for you today, ease you back into it all. And you might see that I've got a sneaky little decoupage sheet there because I think it went so well. I've also popped, so let me explain. So the offer today, if you want to take part in it, and you haven't got this little one, is this die with a free decoupage set. So the decoupage set, I've pinched one there, so I'll show you that one in a minute. You've got 3 sets here. That one that's missing, and 2 others. They're push out ones, so you don't have to cut them out. Always quite helpful. And I know people are always asking about the card, so I have got the card with it as well. So I'm going to be using 3 different colours. I've got the white, which is the Crafts 2 linen. I've got the violet, which is this one, which I have to say on the camera looks slightly blue, but it isn't. And then the lilac. But it goes together very well with the colours that are actually on here. And these are called the Purple Flowers. For obvious reasons, really, but they go together really well. So that's the cardstock I'm going to be using. And I'm also going to be using a small card. So unusually today, we're going to go with the 6x6, which in real terms is actually more like 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. However, that's the one that we're going to go with. So to start off with, I'm going to use the white card. Let me grab it because I have not got it. So I'm going to use the white card and show you the die set. So the die set comes in 3 pieces. So you can make it into a frame, or you can make it into sort of like a background. Lots of different choices. So you've got your main part of the pattern one, and no inner or outer cutting line. So it's quite a pretty one with lots of sort of loops and things. Perfect for putting some pearls and bits and pieces on. So that's why I thought we'd go for it. And as I said, no outer and inner die set to it, but they're included. So we have got 2 here all ready to go. Now, the way, so you can cut this one out 2 ways. I'm going to trim it down a little bit because I found that they are much better to die cut if you cut your card so that it is not a lot bigger than the one that you're actually going to be cutting with. So we can either do this in separate pieces so that we cut out once we're going through with the bigger die, and then we put the next eye on, and then we put the next eye on. It's entirely up to you how you do it. You could put them on all together because they go like this. You could do that, but you might find it's a little dodgy in terms of being able to cut a really good sharp line with all of these very patterned and detailed pieces. So subsequently, we are going to go with the outside line on its own first, because then that's going to give us a good starting point, and then we'll be able to pop our other bits in quite simply. So I'm just going to tape that down with my low tack tape, pop that onto my cutting plates and pop that through. Nice to see you all joining me. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. I was going to say a bit like a hole in the head, but not really, because I did genuinely miss you. I did feel very guilty that I couldn't put the blooming thing up for you last week. It was so annoying. So I've cut my outer piece, and I'm going to now pop my patterned piece down like so, and then I'm going to be very brave, and I'm going to go for the inner piece as well. So I'm just going to slot that into position, and then I'm going to tape that all down. So I have got my already cut outer piece, then this patterned piece, and then the inner one. And when I put it onto my cardstock, to my die plate, I'm going to put it in at an angle so that we get better chance to actually cut that all the way through. So let's have a look and see how that comes out. But because it is very intricate, I am going to be careful that when I take it out, I'm just going to double check that it's all right. Oh, you did miss me. That's all right then. Yeah, you can see it's virtually cut it all out already. So I don't need to do much about that. So that's good. So just got to poke some of those holes out. Isn't it pretty? It's almost lacy in a funny sort of way, because it's not lacy at all, but it's almost lacy. So whilst I'm poking some of these pieces out, let me tell you, first of all, tell you a little bit about the holiday. So as many of you know, it was our 40th wedding anniversary, and because I'm mean, I didn't want to share it with anyone. Well, shared it with the staff, obviously, seeing that he was part of it to start off with. And it was in Dorset, and it was, as I said, a lighthouse, which was absolutely stunning. Weren't we lucky with the weather? We couldn't have picked a better week. I like to think that my mum, who's not been here for a long, long time, was shining down and sending a bit of anniversary wishes on that, because I reckon that we just hit that perfect. It was beautiful. And as you can imagine, on the coast, not too hot. We didn't have to row out to the lighthouse, so I don't want you to get the impression that the staff were having to work hard on this one. They weren't rowing me out to the lighthouse every day. We were on a land-based lighthouse. But it did feel a bit like we were at sea, because all we could see was the sea, which was pretty wonderful, as is this. Isn't that pretty? So I'm really liking that. So now let's just scoop these pieces away. Hold on a second. Now I'm going to cut out another little frame whilst we're at it. So I'm going to take my Lilac card, which is this one. And to start off with, I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to cut out my outer piece first. So I'm just going to trim round it with my scissors, just so that I've got the rough idea there. And I'm just going to tape that. Not gonna. Goodness me, come back from holiday and I'm not even speaking properly. I'm going to put that on there, not gonna. We can't be doing with that, can we, eh? So just take all these bits off my matte and pop that onto there. I am going to put it at a slight angle, but not too drastically, because it's a fairly straightforward shape. It's more or less, you've got to do that when you've got this very fancy edge here. So I want to make a background frame, if you could call it that. So I've got my back piece, which, as we know, is exactly the same size as this piece because we've cut it with the same die. And we then want to cut out our middle piece. You can see already that I haven't caught that. Don't want that bit of tape on there either, do we? So I've used my outer die. Now, if we pop that together, absolutely together, we can see that we've got that in the right place. And I'm going to bring back my inner die and just slot that into place there. Like, oh, right, so now I am going to pop that in there, but there's just another way to just double check that you've got that right, and that is simply not throwing it away. That is simply taking your patterned piece and popping that over the top just to see if that's going to fit in there properly. And I think it needs to be lifted fractionally. So that is going to go through my die cutting machine again. And I've now cut out a frame which I can then pop behind my cutout one to give a really pretty effect. The die I'm using, Kathy, is called Firth Park. I understand it's one of the places in Sheffield somewhere, which John calls a lot of his stuff. But yeah, here we go. That's the die that we're using, and it's called Firth Park. Okay, so our very pretty one now will sit over the top like that, which I think looks lovely. Obviously, you can have any colour through this, and I'm finishing it with a bit of decoupage in the middle, but you could finish it with anything. You could put your sentiments in the middle, you could put some of your flowers in the middle, so something like this, all sorts of things. But bear with me, and we'll see what we are actually going to do with it. So let's pop these dies to one side for the moment. And I'm going to use my spray just to stick these together, only because it's easy. But you don't need to do that. You can use your ordinary glue. Just when you are putting it together, just make sure that you've got the glue on the outer side and on the inner side. And then you could possibly pop a little dot of glue between all those little pieces there. So when I'm putting it on, I'm going to be particularly keen that I have got my square in the middle that's absolutely right. So that's the bit that I'm paying attention to, because I can always trim easily if I needed to the other pieces. But hopefully, if we've lined it up properly, it should work very well, because you've got the same die cut sorted out there. Let's just pop that down. Now, I'm going to put some foam ready to go on there, giving it a bit of strength. And it wouldn't be a card, not one of my cards, if it didn't have a bit of foam on there. Julie, yes, we have got some new sentiment dies, you'll be pleased to know. Don't think they're coming up just at the moment, but we have got some gorgeous ones in the pipeline, I can assure you. So yeah, there's something to look forward to, as is, of course, this coming weekend, which I'll tell you more about in just a second. So that's our frame ready to go using the Firth Park die set. Let me just bring that in again. This is the die set that we've been using. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side, and I'm going to bring in my card base, which, as I said, is my 6x6 stroke, just a little bit smaller. and I'm going to measure that to be 100% sure. Now this one, because I do find that different cards are different sizes. This one, because as you know, I work in centimetres, is just about 14.7 or 8. So I'm going to take my first layer as 14 by 14 centimetres. I think that working with an even number, if we possibly can, makes life much easier. If you were going to do it by inches, I would suggest that this one would be 5.5 by 5.5. Okay, so that's with my piece of card that is here, which may well not be the same as the one that you've got. So bear that one in mind. So now I'm going to take my card that is violet. So it's a slightly darker shade than my lilac one, which is what we used on here. Lilac was the colour for this one. This one is violet. And I thought it was nice to have two different colours myself. Then I'm going to go back to my white piece, and I'm going to cut a piece that is fractionally smaller. So this one was 14 by 14. So this one's going to be 13.5 by 13.5. Or if you were doing it by inches, 5.25 by 5.25. So that piece goes there. And again, I don't know if you can see that, but I wish you could. But it just makes the camera show more than anything. It's got the linen card. It's got such a lovely effect that if you're not wanting to do very much of a background, it just works out quite perfectly for that, I think. So I'm not actually going to put a sentiment on this lot. I think it works well without it, to be honest, but you could always do such a thing if you wished. So I'm going to build up these two layers. It really is a simple card. And as I said, it could be finished off in a variety of different ways. So I'm going to pop that one on first. So that was my violet piece, which, as I said, was 14 centimetres square or 5.5. Then with my white linen card, I have got all the cardstock in stock today, so you're tempted by any of that. This piece is 13.5 square or 5.25, whichever way you are working. Because we're not working in eighths, I can tell you that. Otherwise, not a lot of chance. So I'm then simply going to take my lovely frame. I'm going to take my tape off of the back. Christine, where have you been? She's finally here. What is your excuse? No, it's lovely to have you here. Sorry. Right, let's pop that onto there. A little bit of glue just to give partly a wiggle room, partly an extra strength. And I'm just going to pop it around that way. Just going to try, if I can, to centre that as much as I can. Just pop that down. So I've popped foam onto there, which is just 2mm thick. But if you wish, you could do a deeper one. I just thought 2mm was quite okay with that. So I'm now going to take my decoupage sheet for this one, and I'm going to use this middle one here. I shall show you the other one in just a little while. So I'm just going to push literally this out. And that is my base. There's only 4 layers, so nothing, well, I was going to say horrendous, but nothing too massive. And no little bits, because sometimes you kind of like lose, well, I don't know about you, I do. I lose the will to put the little bits in. I don't mind 4 layers, but then when I've got little bits, as you probably know, I'm not a fiddly person. I can fiddle a little bit, but then I get fed up. So you've got on your decoupage sheet enough to do a second and third one for you. So let's put this around the right way. So my beautiful flower piece here can go straight into the middle flat, like so. I think we'll put that like that. So that's our bottom layer. And then we've got 3 more layers. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with decoupage anyway, but they simply are cut out with just a little bit. So that one, as you can see, the difference is that you haven't got the white flower at the back there and you haven't got as much greenery. But I do like to give it a little bit of a sort of a mould. So where the leaves are, I'm going to curl them, just using my fingernails. I'm going to curl them upwards. So just wherever those little things are there. And then with my, again with my sticky fingers, I'm just going to curl that round slightly. So just breaking the fibres a bit, really. You could put foam on the back. I've got some silicone glue and I'm just going to put some dollops, technical term, dollops, onto the back. Using the silicone glue, it takes a little while to set, but it does give you that dimension. So bring back our card, figure out which way round it goes, just about like that. And that goes over, just simply pops straight over the one that was on the bottom. And this one, we're going to do much the same, but it hasn't got any of the, well, tiny little bit of leaf there. So I'm just going to, oh, can you hear it squeaking? Sorry. So just do a little bit there. It's a bit like blackboard squeaking, that was, wasn't it? So dollops again, technical term, don't forget. Dollops onto there. And then I'm just going to find that same flower and pop that over the top. And finally, my main flower, I'm not even sure what you'd call it. I'll try not to squeak it this time. I'm not sure what you'd call it. Is it possibly a peony or a, I don't know. They just call it a purple flower. So we go with purple flower. And then just 3 more dollops. And then again, just fit that. And notice that I didn't press it down, not like when I'm working around here where I want it all to lay flat. I don't want it to lay flat. I want it to have dimension, if you can see that, just about. And it dries clear, so you get that slightly 3D effect. I'll put the lid back on here. So, final thing. As I said earlier, these little circles here just call out to have some gems put on. And so that's what I'm going to do. So bear with me whilst I'm putting the gems on and nattering away as well. But I think you'll think, oh, as you can see, I still haven't got the lovely Woodware Easy Pick tools. They're still out of stock. I really don't know why they are. At the suppliers, I mean. And by golly, they would be so much easier. But however. So, as I said, Christmas is just for crafters about to begin on Friday, this Friday at 6 o'clock on Create and Craft on TV, where we will be seeing the first collection from John Next Door, which, as you all know, is my favourite collection. Had the pleasure of working with quite a few of the bits, and I just know that you're going to absolutely love them. Oh, so that is for Friday. So I will be here on Wednesday with a little offering for you, and then we will be doing Christmas next Sunday. So it will be, I've got a sample that I would like to show you for Christmas for next Sunday. So do hope that you can make that. It does seem a bit odd when it is hot weather, although it isn't so much today, to be seeing all of the Christmas things coming out. such is the world. And to be honest, 6 months' time, we will be just days away from Christmas. So we don't really want to leave it to the last minute. So there you go. Something else you need to be looking forward to. Oh, jumping away. The 1st of July, got something very exciting to announce on the 1st of July. So pop a reminder in your diary for that. Got something special and new coming from the 1st of July. So really, you don't want to miss that one as well. It's not a Sunday. Normal service will be on a Sunday as well, but this will be a little live, well, not a sneak peek, because it's the launch of on, I think, is it, whoops, on a Friday? When's the 1st of July? Yeah, Friday the 1st of July. So Fancy Friday, or what do we call it before? Fancy Fold Friday, wasn't it? Remember those days? But it's not going to be a fancy fold. Don't you think this is just looking really nice, putting those little gems on there? I think it just finishes this card. I really do. And I'm sure you've got some gems at home, or, you know, some ideas at home. Just trying to find the little ones, because as you can see, I've nearly gone through this. But there's 240, I think. Is it 240 little bits and pieces on here? Something like that. Don't you wish that I had the easy pickup tool? Because I know I do. I'd have been finished it before now. Oh, hello. Everyone will have to wait what we've got on the 1st of July. So be patient, certain people. What else have I got to tell you? Hold on, let me look at the list. Oh, yes. And on the 30th of July, I'm doing my all-day workshop. And there's loads of people coming, which is really lovely. But I have still got literally a handful of places left. So if any of you are thinking, well, I know you live a long way away, but you fancy having a weekend down this way, we would love to see you. That's all on the website, so that you can onto the workshop there, all the details. It's going to be a great day with lots of new techniques and lots of different things to do. So if you fancy having a little treat, that might be your day to look out for as well. So that's July the 30th. So here we have our Firth Park, made into such a pretty, I think anyway, a little very simple design. Perfectly shows off our bits and pieces there. But as I said, if you wish to have a flower, you could have had a sentiment, a happy birthday or whatever, with a flower down the corner, or a flower spray or something. So it does lend yourself to have that. Just bring this one over. This is the missing pattern decoupage from the other one. So this is the one that I made earlier, fair bit yesterday. So it's completely dry, but as you can see, it's still, hopefully you can see, it's still left that decoupage dimension, which I think looks pretty. So there you go. So if you treat yourself to the Firth Park die set today, you will receive a sheet of the decoupage, which will give you that one, and this little one here. So there's just one more there. Okay. So there you go. You don't know if you want it now. You don't know what's going to happen on the 1st of July. None of us, well, thank the Lord, none of us know what's going to happen on any day, do we really? Which is just as well. Just as well. Anyhow, so let us recap what we've got coming. I will be back on Wednesday, this Wednesday, which is the 22nd of July with a little something that I've concocted, which I thought you might like to see how I put it together. Then we have got next Sunday, we will be doing our first Christmas card. You know, never can you do a Christmas card too early, although I've been doing Christmas cards for the last 6 weeks. So there you go. You can't get away from that. Launch of the first Christmas stuff is on Create and Craft at 6 o'clock on Friday. Look out for yours truly's. Some of the samples may well be there, you never know, and some of the other angels as well. Loads of people have been working on it, so it's going to be great to see what you've all done. So there you go, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so pleased that you still found me after being away for what seems like a long time, but not really. Don't forget, put July the 1st in your diaries. And anything that you've seen today will be over on the website, just in case you feel you need to treat yourself. Okay, so have a good rest of the day. Father's Day, if anyone is celebrating, I've got to go and cook dinner for my dad, but that's the same as it always is on a Sunday. So we celebrate Father's Day every Sunday, or nearly, but he's missed us as well. So he's got to be treated a little bit special today as well. So take care. Have a great day and look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday if you can, but if not, next weekend. Thanks very much. Don't forget, everything that you see on YouTube is always there. So if you haven't managed to watch us live, don't worry, you will be able to see it another time. And don't forget to pop your comments on there and share maybe. Share your bits and share this video so everybody can see how lovely it is. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining me.